I enjoy rice. I digest rice well. Someone else might do better with potatoes. Someone else might do better. I would stay away from, I just think, I don't know, not that I'm against weed or anything, but I just don't think, I think a lot of people have more weed allergies and things like that. And I think, you know, I'm not like, again, a nutrition expert by any means, but I feel like more people get inflammation from weed and don't digest it as well and things like that. But
any difference in, I guess, personal opinion? Type of brown, white, jasmine.
Whatever you like. Whatever you like. Some people like even like some people will advocate doing like a white rice just because it's easier to digest. You know, the difference in like five. You know, there's like a very small difference between brown and white. It kind of brown rice got like overhyped a little bit. But if you enjoy, I just switch it up. So sometimes I'll have wild rice. Sometimes I'll have, you know. So I'll just get like different flavors just to kind of switch it up or whatever. So going back to, that's the one, I prep my meat and veggies and things like that, but I will do some like frozen vegetables and I will do some minute rice, because what I like about the minute rice too, I know like the package I get from Aldi also, it's, each bag is 100 grams, so it's like really it's like a perfect portion for me personally. If you want, you can do Uncle Ben, sometimes has like the 40 gram sizes, but you can just, it's already like measured out for you, and so that's like a time saver. It's probably be a little more expensive, but sometimes you got to pick and choose. I also do, when I'm in a pinch, I also get these turkey patties from BJ's, which are really, they've been all like the rage here with some of our staff, but you know, each patty is 20 grams of protein. They have really good macros on them. If you have a meet coming up, again, so this is like one of those do as I say, not as I do things. Like, you know, like probably like chill out with the cardio, but that's only maybe like the last 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks out of the year, you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, but if you're like, what about like the other, you know, so like it's about what you do the majority of the time. Does that make sense? So I think we get weird. And that was my problem too, because I was so worried about like, because my numbers were, you know, I was getting good, but the thing is like for me, you know, I'm a coach first. I'm very happy, like, with, you know, like I said, I've squatted 705 in a belt, I've done 900 in a suit. Great. I'm not setting any world records. I've been doing this for 12 years. If I wasn't going to get it healthy, I don't know how much, you know, longer I'm going to be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I rather like, let me pump the brakes, let me get my health in check, and then I can gain the strength. Because everyone wants to do everything at once. They want the six pack, they want to squat 1,000, like, you know, it's like, you know, what are we doing? You know, so it's like, so for one of the things here, I'm trying to, and it's hard because I do work with some, but I don't, so as a group, as a team, I never want to sacrifice people's health anymore. I don't think that's smart. And I also think the longer you're in the game, the better you're going to end up being. So if you're healthier, you're going to be around longer. You know, have more opportunity to be better at what you do. So I'm just, you know, there's really no such thing as balance, but we want to, I think striving for balance is a good thing. But basically, if you're like 4 to 6 weeks, and even, you're not trying to like set a national record in powerlifting, like you're trying to get better, right? But like, so like, you know what I'm saying? So like you maybe being a little fatigued, doing some cardio, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not as detrimental to like a Larry Wheels, you know, he's literally trying to set a world record. You know what I'm saying? But there's going to be a period of time where like, so like if your goal is I want to be healthier and stronger, well, this is the day I'm testing, so I'm going to chill out the day before. So like for me, I have a meet this week. I'm not going to go crazy. Like I'm going to chill out. You know, I'm going to like probably work out a little bit like tomorrow. Like super, like today I worked out super light. Today I got even like, you know, I'm starting to like, because I've been like really hammering it. And I know that there's probably been some workouts where my performance has suffered, but that my main priority was make 242. You know what I'm saying? So my second, now if my main priority was I want to total 2,000 and hit this big PR, then I need to maintain my weight and be in a surplus and not worry about losing weight. But so it just depends. That's where everything goes back to the beginning. What's your why? So I know you want to be healthier, you want to be stronger. So having a balance of things and maybe not worrying about like, oh, well, I'm a little sore, I'm going to do the best I can. And then like, if it's work once out of the month, and like I said, so like, you know, maybe yesterday, so maybe like tomorrow would be a good day to do a little bit harder cardio because you already squatted.
Right.
and it's not going to have a negative impact on your performance. You know, if your legs are a little tired for bench, it's like, okay, you know. So that's why I try to, like, you know what I mean? So does that kind of answer your question? So I think that's what I'm saying. People are like confused and they're like so scared they don't know, like, you know, but it's like, you know, just try it and you can always like, okay, well, I overdid it, or I don't really, you know. But I will say too, like, the more you do, like, the more you can handle, like, and your body will like adapt. But you know, you want to do it like slowly and methodically. So you know, one thing. So my sports psychologist always, like, he says, you know, he's like, ink it, don't think it. He's like, ink it. It's like, write it down, put it in your schedule. Like, you know, that's why I like, even with goals, everything. Like, if you have it, if it's something physical and you can see it, and you set. So like for me, like when I was like going through this whole weight loss thing and I wanted to get ready for this meet, I'm like, I literally got down, I got a piece of paper, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna squat this day. I'm gonna do this. So I like mapped out like how I was gonna organize it, and then I just did it instead of like, oh, should I do cardio today, or like, it's just that's. So if you sketch, so I know like some people, you know, but I really believe like that structure is important. And then again, maybe you have a family, you miss it here and there, but again, if you have more wins than losses and you're following it more often than not, you're gonna move the needle. If you're worried about, oh, should I do it today, or, you know, that's why I always say, like, get in a routine, write it out. So that's big, cool. We have a problem in general as people. We want like things to be black and white. Is this good or is this bad? Should I do this or not do this? And it's always like somewhere in between. So like, for example, I like to use this example, like, let's say like you're eating McDonald's, right? And you go from McDonald's to eating like cold cuts. And someone's like, oh, you know, cold cuts got like nitrates, blah, blah, blah. If you're going from like eating McDonald's to having like turkey breast from the deli, that's a step up. It doesn't necessarily need to be like free range organic chickens, like, you know, like there's a progression for everything. So like even with my like my turkey patties from BJ's, it's, you know, maybe it's in plastic. I don't know. I don't worry about that stuff. It's like, because you can always nitpick the littlest thing. Same thing with lifting. It's like, my pinky toe like shifted like a half a centimeter. You know, it's like, if you're like worried about like that, you're like, you know, you're majoring in the minors and like you're like worried about like the wrong stuff. Focus on the big rocks. Focus on the big picture, and you can, as you progress. And then if you're at the point where like you're 10% body fat or whatever, then like, okay, maybe those little things matter a little bit more. But for most of us, we're just trying to like just, you know, get a little better. So, you know, I think that just realizing that everything's on a spectrum, and don't strive for this, you know, again, another thing my business coach says, you know, progress, not perfection. Just focus on, like, I like using the football analogy. If you just keep getting 3 yards at a clip, you're gonna score. You don't need a Hail Mary if you play. You need to move the chains. You keep moving the chains, and eventually you're gonna get down the field. We're so like worried about like just having this home run all the time, but like if you just keep making hits, you know, it's like you're gonna be okay. So you just keep moving the chains a little bit. So I would say with meal prep, I'd pick like 2 days where you just do it, so you know, like, okay, like Sunday, Wednesday, whatever, you know, and just like have that like designated time to do it. You know, like one thing, it's funny. Because like I had some people at my apartment, and they're like, you know, it's like, you're like, my fridge is so like organized, because I'm like, this is like Monday's food, this is, and then like my actual like, you know, my appliances and stuff are not like that organized, but it's like, this is like what I care, this is my prayer, you know, it's like your fridge is like, you know, it's like, well, this is Monday's meat and this is Tuesday's meat and this, you know, but it's like, you know, now like that's stress off me. I know like I have my food for the week is done. And I just need to eat these meals, and I need to train, and I don't have to worry about it. So it really, like I said, it becomes a real positive thing. So I think that's big. And I think with the mental stuff, I think the more we get stuff out of our head and on paper, or we talk to somebody, because we always have these like conversations with ourselves or whatever. So I think like for you, like writing out a plan of, okay, this is going to kind of be my eating schedule, or this is going to be like I said, for me, like I like rules. Some people might like a little more flexibility, but like I think, you know, having some sort of structure and plan. Okay, like on these are my days where I typically train. I know, your schedule rotates a little bit,
Yeah.
so you may need to do that like every week, but you set aside time, like, okay, a week starting, this is my schedule, or I'm having my rice here, I'm having my nuts on this, whatever, like you have this plan, and you may need to redo it every week, but if you stick to that, it just makes it a habit. I know, like for me, like with these guys and stuff, a lot, like we'll like, sometimes, okay, like this is our like objective for this week, this is our kind of plan for like this workout, and then we execute it, So you just kind of talk about it and just like get it out on paper ahead of time, and then you just do it. You don't have to think about it, because it's like, okay, it's Tuesday, what do I need? And then that becomes a stressor in itself. So if you have your plan, even if the plan's not perfect, at least you got somewhere to start, and then we can make adjustments, But if you're just always flying by the seams of your pants and you're just kind of like winging it, you're going to make a lot more mistakes like that way. It's a lot easier to have the plan and adjust moving forward. So, yeah. And I would say for you might want to say like, for if you're, because you're looking to do this meet and you're looking to compete. So I would say, regardless of the intensity or the rep range, if we're going heavy here and you're doing you're getting ready for a powerlifting meet, so you want to make sure that when you're benching, squatting, and deadlifting, that your body is fueled. Regardless of, because people will argue like powerlifting is not like glycogen depleting, but having glycogen to move and produce force and all this stuff is going to help you feel better. It's going to make sure you're hydrated. It's going to make sure you produce more force, all this stuff. So I think that what I would recommend is, I mentioned before that Wednesdays and Saturdays is basically a zero carb day, more or less, for me. I still have trained on those days, but I'm not like squatting and deadlifting, something that's really like taxing. But I'm still like, moving, I'm doing some aerobic work and stuff. So technically like, aerobic work, but like I could walk in a treadmill on zero carbs and not like, I'll be okay. But if I'm trying to squat 800, or something, like I want to make sure, like, even though it's like one rep, but it's a really like intense, like I want to make sure I feel good and my, like it's just, and then I'm going to do my belt squat and I'm doing all this other stuff. So that's a little bit, the, intensity level as far as effort is going to be a lot higher on that versus like, okay, I'm going to like walk a little faster, walk a little slow. I don't need to like be like super full and have all this, energy like stores for walking, or doing some curls, I could, if I'm a little, but I'll be honest too, like sometimes like my body's just used to like not having carbs in those days, and it's just, you just kind of get used to it. So I don't know if that like helps, or I would just focus on, okay, like these are the days I want to perform well. So I think that the carbohydrates are like kind of around like days you want to perform. I think that makes a lot of sense to me from an athlete standpoint. And then like for me, so like, I'm competing next weekend. I'm going to weigh in and I'm going to load up. And I did this, so I don't know, I hope, I've been on like a good, so like my last competition, I just did deadlift only because I was helping Benny qualify for the Bench Freak show. So we're in Ohio, so I weighed in at 273. I mean, man, I must have like 600 carbs. Like, I mean, I was probably having double like but I filled out, I felt like Superman. Like I was so, cause I've been in a deficit and depriving myself, and I ate good, I was eating like sushi, rice and stuff, but I mean, man, I only pulled 615 in the gym and I smashed 660 deadlift at the contest. Because I just let myself, replenish, and that was for one day. So I was training fatigued and a little, under, but then, okay, this is my contest, I want to go all out. I let myself go a little bit. I just, I didn't worry about how many calories I was getting in, and I had a really good performance. And then I was back on, I think we had had a couple of beers, we had some appetizers, and then I was back on track on the diet the next day. And I felt really good. It was fun. So, and it's like, so just like, but again, there was structure, there was a plan like to it. So I'm going to do something similar like this weekend. And yeah, I hope that, it'll be a little harder because I'm doing 3 lifts and things like that. But, I had a good training cycle, and I know like, I'm going to deload and everything, feel rested. So does that like kind of helps you kind of have a little like direction on what you want to do with your food? And so, and I think for you, if you're having trouble, like I said, just utilizing oils and liquid a little bit more, that'll help because it won't fill up your stomach as much and you still get the calories in. So I don't have to think about it. But you could, whether it's a video or apps and things, so there's an app,
Headspace is a really good.
Headspace is good,
Pranayama.
and Pranayama is just a breathing app, but you could, so Headspace is actually like a guide talking you through different meditation. Headspace is very good. So I think that you'll like that based on what you told me. Pranayama is actually just, it's a really simple app, but I use it if I do yoga, because I had a hard time, because I was getting spoiled just doing stuff with Emily, and I think that doing it with an instructor is definitely better. So I would definitely, I would recommend if you are available that night, like try it here and there. You don't necessarily have to do it every week, but I would definitely give it a shot. The yoga, I think it would be great for you. But the pranayama is good because you could set like, so the beginner level, it's a 2-count inhale and a 4-count exhale. You can adjust the times and stuff like that. You can adjust how long you want to do it for, but it changes tone, so it helps you guide your breath. So the problem with meditation is that you can't really focus. When people say, "Oh, you don't want to focus on anything," you have to focus on something. Like it's not possible. Like so.
Think of nothing.
So by focusing on your breath, that blocks out all the other noise. So I think the breathing is good. So the pranayama, you could put your headphones in, whatever, or you can just have your phone play, and it'll change the tone, and you could just, because I've made a couple of videos on like box breathing, where you basically like, you pull in air for a certain number of counts, hold it, exhale, and then hold it again. So the difference between that and the pranayama is that there's no like, you can add holds and stuff in, but I think just doing some breathing exercise, and you could just like start off like, I'm just going to do 10 minutes or 5 minutes, do something really low inertia, like I'm going to do this breathing exercise with meditation for 5 minutes a day. And then you can kind of build up to it. Everyone's going to be at a certain point. Like for me, like I don't think I could just straight up meditate for, at least right now, for 30 minutes without doing like I like moving a little bit, so that's why I like the yoga and being in different poses, but some people are fine just like literally sitting there. That's something you need to experiment with, and but the yoga for me is like my meditation, and it's been like super helpful for me because I'm like a super like more high strung, like very passionate kind of guy. Like I'm kind of like like when I'm coaching you guys, I'm like pretty like very like active. I'm not just kind of sitting there. So being able to shut off a little bit's been like big. So I think one of the goals for you might just be I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes before bed or whatever. Help you go to sleep a little bit, and I'll kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And then hey, 5 minutes, I feel good. Maybe you could build up to it, but just start off with something like really again low inertia, gain some momentum, and see how you feel. Because I know like for me, it's been like a huge difference for me. And like I said, I have a lot of stuff going on, all this stuff, and running the business, and it's very stressful. Managing people and trying to keep the business going and all this stuff and advance it and create more content. So like for me, it's been huge. I don't think we do enough like work inside for ourselves. We're always focused on the external stuff. But if you're better inside, like you're going to be better. Like if you're better internally, you're going to be better externally. It's just going to like show up better. I think our nervous system and our brain, and I just think there's so much. I mean, I think even not to get too like weird and sciencey, but like I forget like what we don't even use. Like we're not even close to using our full like brain.
Oh yeah.
And it's like So I think that more we can kind of be like in tune with ourselves, and we're focused on this, on social. Like just we'll look within a little bit, and I think that like kind of helps make a lot of things clearer. And I've even noticed like like it's a lot people are really crazy drivers and stuff, and I'm like so much more like calm on the road now and stuff, and I'm just like this guy's like screaming, I'm just like I'm just I'm like taking, but it's really nice to like not just like get riled up for no reason. Like it's just there's a lot of people that are just so, it's like dude, it's like what are you mad about?
Yeah.
But people like have so many demons inside, and they don't ever like do anything to like just take a breath. It's like we all have the ability to like we can't control anyone but ourselves. So if we can master ourselves and be more in control of our emotions and our body and our spirit, and I know, even sometimes I feel like I've evolved a lot this past year, and I think the biggest thing, like I said, the mental change helped drive the physical change, not the other way around. Because a lot of people are like, what's the biggest, like, just my head, man, it's just my head. So that allowed me to do what I need to do, because now I'm not having as much negative self-talk, I'm de-stressing more, even when things are nuts. Been able to learn to manage, because it's like at the end of the, again, not to like, man, it's like we even on our worst days, like we have it pretty good. He was just in Haiti and stuff. It's just like, man, it's like we're doing okay. It's like, oh, this, it's like I had a bad comment on social media, or like, it's like, oh my God, like it's like that's terrible. It's like there's people like that can't even like get clean water, and I think and that's why I think it is important to give back and things, and it really puts things in perspective. And it's like I said, we don't know how, not to be dark, we don't know how long we have here, so why not like just make the best of it. And like for me, like striving for growth, striving for progress, being more positive. I mean, I think that's really what it's all about, making better connections with people. And that's why like I'm getting a little bit more away from like being so romantic about a certain number or a total, or like everyone's more than just like what a number, or whether it be on the scale or the squat bar or whatever. These are just vehicles to improve ourselves. So if we're better, if we're stronger, we have stronger bodies, we have stronger minds, we're healthier, and we can do all these amazing things, and we can compete, and we can have fun, and we can do it as a team. I think that, like I said, the more we can just focus on the positive. So I think for you, Liz, you might want to do the meditation, you might want to do that journal, and like what are the best 3 things that happened today? And you could, whatever areas you want to improve on, like for me it was training, relationships and my business. Like I always did those 3. And when I was going through a really tough time, that really helped get my mental state on track. I admittedly I haven't been doing it, but like I did that for a period of time, and that like really like got me like on the right path again. So I think starting the day and going to bed and something positive, that's big. And I think we could be our own worst critic sometimes, and I think a lot of times, often you're probably doing better than you think. So don't compare yourself to others. You are you, and you just do the best you can. Like I said, even like I think my mom's a great example. I would have never thought she'd be like putting a bar in her back like ever. It's like it's the last but she's doing great. She's she went from like struggling with her body weight. She's moving some weight, and she's getting stronger. Her bone density is better. That's great. Like she's not going to be a world-class lifter. That's fine.
I'm not either.
You're think about like where you started and what you're lifting now. It's unbelievable. So you're a better version of yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but that's the most important thing. Yeah, that's okay. But if you're not, it's really about your total calories. So if you're just eating more, and that's what I was talking about, like so you might be okay, but it really just depends on if your energy levels are suffering, then maybe like something like a protein shake or nuts to hold you over. Nuts are good when you're like not around the training time. Mm-hmm. So if you need something quick like throughout the day, portion it out, because nuts are calorie dense, but a handful of nuts got good fats. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's good for your health. So, and something like here, if there's like a big gap between, eating like your dinner and stuff, like maybe just having like just a scoop of protein powder, like something, so you get 20 grams of protein. It's enough to like stop you from being catabolic. You're gonna start to like rebuild and everything.
Yeah, because when I go home, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
like,
so
I want to eat right away.
So yeah,
Because that's what you do.
yeah. But if you haven't, again, if you have it prepped already, and this is my dinner,
Right.
you don't have to think. You just grab it, and this is my portion. That's something I always pre-portion everything, because I have a portion control problem. Like if the bowl, whatever the bowl is, like I'll just like finish, like
Yeah.
So if all right, this is 8 ounces of meat. This is 8 ounces of meat.
All right.
So you know what I'm saying. So you know what I mean. So it just, if you're prepared, then you can't, just do your plan. Just follow the plan. So that's what I'm saying. When you go home and you don't have something planned, and even like if again I live by myself now, so it's like I don't buy junk. So you also need to be on board, but you know what I'm saying? But if you're doing the shopping, don't buy junk. It's really, you know what I'm saying? So if you just buy good, you know, even it's like, you know, just don't have it in your house. If you want to like go out, have a treat once in a while, like do it when you're out socially, like, you know, cause like that was my biggest thing is like sometimes, you know, cause my dad, you know, like he does restaurant inspections, so he'd bring buffalo chicken and all this stuff. See ya. Yep. See ya. All right, any last words? Good. All right, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.